Okay, this is chapter 21. The title is Willard. The summary is Welcome to hell. Get nice and comfortable. The ride never ends. It's only something the lowest of the low ever really understand. Is Daedra one of them? Where your nightmares end. This is quite an unusual circumstance, you know. 'Tis indeed. It's rare that any of the Akatsuki's reigns cast their shadows more than once in a single moon, let alone another fact. I think you're the first to request an audience with me, instead of the vice versa. Daedra, even as a rainbow-lined silhouette and a man of shorter stature than most of the others, still manages to stand tall in the gloom of this cave of statues. It's a real talent, truly is, to have the sort of bravado the blonde does. But he is an artist after all. I'll keep it short. Only on the leader's physical body may it be seen, as he raises a brow in curiosity, not here in front of his underlings. Even so, a lack of enthusiasm in turn doesn't damper Daedra's confidence. Tell me, this is taking a while, isn't it? A sound behind the bomber's ear. It is only for formality's sake that his partner is in attendance. They've been paired up long enough that ignoring the commentary has become second nature to Daedra. Meanwhile, Pain allows the silence to answer for him. Continue. You clearly have a point to this interruption, don't you? See, I've given our sudden predicament much consideration, Leader-sama. Clearly this newcomer is something of value, assuming she's telling the truth, of course. Konan glances at the back of Pain's shade at this comment, but as always says nothing at the meeting. It has to be assumed that the tinges of disdain and sarcasm aren't going over his head. The brutes of this group can't scare it out of her, apparently. And our graceful, oh so accurate Sharingan of Uchiha Itachi can't crack her like a code. You can hear his spiteful smile, see the hatred for that name in his lone visible eye, even as it doesn't so much as flinch. So, that got me thinking. She's a musician, isn't she? An artist. The leader tilts his chin up in interest, his rained eyes pinning the youngest member down. I'm just thinking, Daedra repeats, leading around and around in a spiral that'll reach his conclusion. Perhaps only a fellow artist is capable of understanding her art, her secrets. It isn't necessarily art, Sathari's puppet states, Hiriko's voice deep and mechanical. Daedra makes a shooing motion to the side, dismissing this crass idea. An art, he reemphasizes. Daedra. The sound of his name brings the blonde to give his leader a questioning hum. He doesn't see the sweeping realization in Pain's eyes, not like he expected. Indeed, the god is skeptical. I cannot afford to have so many Akatsuki in one such place. Oh, come on! The indignancy comes out as soon as he doesn't get what he wants. He really is like a spoiled child, the way he folds his arms and pouts. Everyone else is there. Surely a shark and 2 zombies bring too much attention already. And besides, despite the disrespect, Pain allows him to continue, and that will change everything. Didn't we want to establish a base at some point? Ah, there it is. The twitch of purple eyes widening, the approval tinging the atmosphere, even if it isn't immediately spoken. Perhaps so. Pain blinks, long and slow in contemplation or intimidation, whichever is meant to make him seem more in control than Daedra is here. You've given this thought, haven't you? Well, I keep saying so. More disrespect. The leader decides not to dwell on it. So, what then? What do you propose? The smuggest grunt in the world escapes the blonde's throat as his shadow abruptly moves his arm forward, an index and middle finger raised for the count of 2. 2 days. That's all I'll need. The others can finalize surveillance protocol, set up the needed traps, perhaps make a spy network. The arm lowers, and so does his voice. You leave her to me, and she'll sing like a bird, whatever you want to hear. Conan and Sorcery stare at their respective partners, mouths shut and perhaps their minds as well. What do the men speaking make of this? What are they thinking? I do not like this artist, Charlie Smagora Moxby. The woman has a good guess that her fellow Akatsuki founder is smiling. What a rare thing. Should it frighten her? Maybe not. Regardless, eyes unblinking, his raised chin drops to a nod. Proposal accepted. And though Payne has no faith whatsoever in Datara's plan succeeding as intended, another house guest for the stranger shan't be of harm. After all, Datara does have a point indeed. Perhaps artists can hear things in the lyrics that the average shinobi cannot. And though a puppet of this kind cannot narrow his eyes, Sasori makes it all the more clear he is doing so with the grumble in the back of his throat. Damn this rule of pairs. What a waste of time this is going to be. Chapter break. Willard begins. Huh? I know, princess. The shark raises a hand, hoping to stop and relax a panic before it roots even deeper, unnerving not just the woman but everyone else involved too. It lowers a second later to finish swinging Samehada upon his back in preparation for the upcoming journey. It won't be long. He offers a grin. It's only half convincing. Think of it this way. We get this done, and that just makes you all the more safe. Doesn't that help? Kizume's gaze is less asking and more begging her to agree. Why is she so upset, you may ask? He swears he's the only one that gets it. How delicate the lady is. How hard it is for her to get used to people. How easily frightened she may be. What Kizume doesn't understand is why Hidan is upset too. All of us? The Jashinist curses for the 4th time in the hour, refusing to pick up his scythe despite it almost being time to go. Makes no fucking sense. I swear Shut up. Kakuzu finally speaks since Setsu first gave the news. We have our orders. We do it, we get back. Stop your whining, it won't take us long. The older man ignores Hidan's agitated growl. It won't change anything if he acknowledged it, even if he agrees. That leaves the woman holding her hands and looking at the floor. Despite how hard she tries not to let him bother her, black and white toes peek from sandals in the top of her vision. Zetsu. He's smiling. He's smiling so pleasantly as he always does. But he knows now. He knows her third, most terrible secret that could end a new life forever. What's going to happen? A magical night in the company of Fae and Fireflies being led up by this. She can't shake off the distinct feeling that she's about to be interrogated. This is about to get way too real, way too fast. And she'll have not a shoulder to lean on. And that's the plan. A gasp comes as a touch comes to the top of her head. Let me read that again. A gasp as a touch comes to the top of her head. Eyes glance up, and Itachi does not smile as they meet his. Indeed, such expressions from him are scarce. But he can still speak softly, still make her believe maybe luck could be on her side after all. We'll return, Miss Takra, he promises. You'll be safe. She raises her head, taking in the small crowd in front of her. All for her. Each one of these 4 men to be spirited away gaze back in their own unique manner. Kakuzu's is weary. Hidan's is passionate. Kizume's is apologetic. And Itachi's. Itachi always looks like he knows how each story is going to end. That has to count for something, right? Okay. The traveler swallows. She'll believe him. Even as behind the mall tower the plant, even as she neglects the presence of an orange mask behind her bask. An orange mask behind her back, observing in curiosity what could possibly happen next. This is going to be fun. Chapter break. Tear him up. Do you hear my kitty? What are you meowing at, baby? Now, where to begin? Though rumor has it that the stranger is just an otherworldly equivalent of a civilian, Deidara is not the type to take chances. Well, wait. Not this time, at least. He's thought this one out, just as he told Pain. His ever-present smirk is plastered underneath a concentrating eye, pinching fingers adjusting the magnification of his scope, and he peeks through dappling light. This forest makes for great cover, just as he heard. He squats next to the trunk of the tree he's perched in the branches of, finding the pinhole's worth of open space between him and the world outside of the green. Perfect. The scope aims right through, to a mansion that looks so little from so far away. It's halfway between wretched and serene, thanks to these repairs Kizume's taken liberty to. Maybe both those descriptions suit her, too. He sees her pace at first, not outside on the lawn, but passing by the windows closest to her front door, surely waiting for whoever he and Sasori are going to be. Ah, yes, the anxious type, just as he was warned by his oh-so-gracious dam leader. A thumb is to her mouth, that she gnaws on in anticipation. Curiosity in the blue-eyed spy asks, is she playing for an audience of no one? Or does she know she's being watched? Regardless, Deidara has a scheme, one he's rather proud of, to be quite honest with you. He waits until it's well past the time he had promised to arrive with his Dana, past the rising morning sun, and until he can tell from her body language that an exhale of impatience, nervousness, releases the weight from her shoulders. Behind a portion of the wall she disappears, not arriving in view of the same level, but one rather far above. Just as he hoped. The woman bites the inside of her lip as she escapes to the attic, sitting in her nest of pillows with one leg on the floor and another propping up her elbow. Its palm in turn bringing rest to a weary head. This is all too much. If she doesn't calm down, she's going to give herself a heart attack. In her nerves, she's placed the figurines Hidan bought in a fit of jealousy and rose. A tiny little army, or perhaps an audience to jeer at her. Regardless, the zoo has nothing to say yet. The squeaks of rodents are far from unfamiliar. She's rather used to them, in fact. Has not the heart to make them leave, threaten death when she herself commits the sin of merely existing and being alive in the same place and time as others. That's why it surprises her when 2 or 3 in conversation among the old keepsakes abruptly stop. Her eyes raise, and she glances to the shadows. The wood and fabric structures that to such little things must seem like buildings and skyscrapers. All these dusty boxes and unheld doodads. A round, white creature plops from the center of her single open window. Her eyes fall. She gasps. A slight jump she makes as this tiny beast enters her vision. A hand quickly raises, flinches, But no further distress comes upon the musician. Seconds pass as she evaluates the thing, starkly pale against the earthy tones of this room, the warm light streaming in from outside. It stays perfectly still as soon as it's within not but 2 feet of the edge of her skirt. A mouse. Perhaps a rat. It cannot be overly stated how shaped this animal is. The curves of it are so smooth, so clear, that it's like it was drawn with stencils and made into reality. It's like you 3D printed a living thing. The hand she initially raised in high-strung fright now curls its fingers, parted lips drawing closer to shut as she tries to make sense of what has entered her hiding place. This is the first time she's seen non-human fauna that didn't make sense to her mind. Sharkmen, yes, that's new. So are amalgamates made of black, white, and green. Bleeding red eyes and stitches all over bodies. And skin that can heal quicker than any mortal cells should. But something as this? It's so small. It's so strange. But who's to say that magic here is limited to only the bipeds of the animal kingdom? Still. So perfectly still as she leans in, getting as near as she comfortably can while self-assuring she could get out of the way if the itty-bitty thing demanded. There are indents where its eyes should be, so large upon the figure like you took an ice cream scoop and molded the white flesh out. A novel situation such as this requires she do something very on-brand for her ilk. Hello? It doesn't move. She tilts her head, frowning. Is it dangerous? Can she move past it, or... The mouse takes her by surprise. A delay in the question and answer as it spins in a circle. Both hands are raised near her head now, fingers curled and palms facing the animal. Her knees bolster up to her chest to give as much empty space between them as possible. Blink, blink. The rotation continues. 1, 2, 3 times on an inevitable track, with a small hesitancy in between counts. It reminds her of a robot, of an RC car. She's helpless but to let stars fill her eyes. Let me see if I can open this. Hey! What a strange thing you are, she coos under her breath. The quiet is so inviting. The quiet is so inviting. Blind eye socket so docile and mindful. Another thing she can't help but do is make conversation. It is, after all, only polite, and she does need the practice. You know, I'm expecting someone. Would you happen to know anything about that? Are you a messenger? The silence, however, can't answer that for her. The weird girl shrugs and curls her brow, tilting her head to the side as she observes her new friend. Well, I hope if that's the case, your master is as nice as you are. Though, perhaps, it's just you. Are you here on your own? Are you my visitor? A sigh, long and tired. No, of course not. I haven't seen you around here before. If it is your home, I hope it's okay that I'm here. If it's not, well, I guess it's my responsibility to be a good host. She talks so much. The mouse does not know yet it's more than she ever talks to anyone. Anyone, that is, that can talk back and call her stupid for saying such silly things, for trying so hard to be good. The corners of her cheeks rise, but after a few seconds pass, they just as quickly fade. Staring at the bean, a little fey in its own right, hearing the silence of the world, but not the rustling leaves and a gentle breeze outside her window. It makes it easy to contemplate. She hears voices, but not the kind she tries to drown out. The woman replies to them. I don't know if I'm good at it, to be quite honest. This isn't even my house. What? Whose? A shamed whisper has raised to an indignant sputter. I don't know. I don't think anyone's lived here in at least a decade. When I got here, there was glass all over the floor, and she looks to the organism that imitates her next word. It's just like her, a mockery of what it looks like. Mice. A knuckle is brought to brush up against her lips, eyes looking through the rodent. What was that song I sang that night? She asks herself aloud. Oh, of course. Tomcat Disposables. She sang it happily first, here in this home. She sang it sad next, helpless the initial night at her new job. There's a sister song to it, the woman recalls. Another to do with just a little mouse. Unlike the one within the first tale, this one does not hope. Instead, it is hoped for. It is aspired to. She takes a breath, shaky and scared in everything she ever always is, when new people are around the corner. Things she can't help and reactions she can't control. May I sing a different song for you? The musician asks, as softly as one may request to simply be seen and known, when they never have been before. In one motion, the clay rodent tilts its chin up by a non-existent neck. A nervous chuckle escapes her. It's almost sentient. Sentient in the way people are. But hopefully not too much like how people are. That'd be cruel. You know I couldn't hurt a fly, my friend. The woman begins, voice shaky and soft, as she's not yet found her footing. I'm not the type to step on ants. She rolls her shoulders back and sings. My cat's whining. Am I not petting you enough? I'm petting you now. She rolls her shoulders back and sings as if it can really listen, truly get what she's talking about. Perhaps it can. What harm if so? What harm if not? It'll ease her worries either way, getting this off her chest. I've nearly cried for moths that die at porch light lamps, more for the plights of mice than men. Her hands start to do more talking, bobbing side to side by their wrists and comparisons. Here are the mice, there are the men. She's never understood the latter. See, she went to school to learn sociology. No, she went to learn sociology because she wanted to know people. Understand? She wanted to know people because they always eluded her. Because they made it so she could never understand herself. I myself have been stepped on so many times. It started to feel like my place. My baby boy wants pets so bad. I'm giving them to him, but he keeps shoving his head into my hand. Sometimes, the human mind is wired in such a way that its owner has a keen awareness. One, that is, about that which you don't know. How ironic, how hypocritical. The things that you think about thinking about thinking. The processes that are natural for everyone else, but are alien to you, make you alien to everyone else as you try to sort it out. Were you even made for this planet? Could you exist for any other? Maybe she is from space. That'd be easier to explain the facts of things, the stranger believes. I've failed to fit in into those nests that scrape the sky. Big, begging eyes return to the mouse's blank face as she gets more honest, more lost in her own feelings. She lowers to the floor, gets on her stomach and prays. Is there room for me in your cage? She never tried to be funny at first, you know. Didn't make an effort to be cute or naive or pitiable. Adults start to see a child that way and continue to into her own aging. Such behavior will warden in its consequences more navigable and safe than trying to be herself. Independence is hard when, like a rat in one of her psychology classes, she's in the contraption, solving puzzles with no clear reason why, but getting fed all the same when they're properly navigated. Her instructor told the students, with humor mind you, not disgust, that there's no point in naming the animals. He named them all already, see? All the same thing, something bland and forgettable that really has been forgotten into time. What she does remember is what she named hers. It was Willard, after this pretty ditty, though perhaps too the movie it's inspired by. A boy, too misunderstood by his fellow man. Rats don't live long, unfortunately, even as smart as they are. They are still animals that are cute, or naive, or pitiable. Why are people so difficult? Why does she not know the secret to mankind as everyone else does? Why is it so exhausting to merely exist? Animals are people too, but these people are animals. Hunt in packs and act as though that proves we can't survive alone. And I guess we just evolved disgust for prevention of infection, though. Shame was an invention made for prisons, pails, and pest control. Yeah, sure, some are great and all. As the narration goes on, this dark, dusty attic, she continues to be on the level with the beast of the floorboards, her fellow mouse, twiddling her thumbs at him in demonstration. It's really a theatrical song, one that at first surprised her it wasn't from a musical. It's so explanatory, so very good at getting the point across. At least someone out there gets what she feels like. If only it could all be like that. But I just get bare necessities, Hakuna Matatas and C'est la vis. Que sera, sera. What a crock. I mean, big talk for a chimpanzee. She explains not with her mouth but her hands and eyes, bouncing side to side and making faces of contempt. With the next line, the effort is made to roll over like a dog and lay on her back. Show her belly to polite society's invisible stabbing knives that always hang above, as Damocles' sword. You might seem behind bars, but friend, this cage is inside out. And the next line pleads to ears unhearing, though a hungry, distant eye tries to read her lips. It's awful out here, Socrates. It made her wish so often late at night when she was young enough to believe in God, that perhaps he sees the girl has finally learned her divine lesson, and now gets to be something else, gets to be whatever her lost soul was made for. She frowns, sitting straight up as she uses the song to go through her own mishmash of disquieting ideas and emotions. The all-seeing mechanical eye spots how the fellow artist holds her chin, the way she furrows her brow and uses her free hand to wipe at the air, like doing so will make the bad voices get out of her way and leave her the hell alone. I've never understood what humans do and want. It's quite confusing to me to try to connect. Never learned how I should feel. Instincts somehow stunted. Just seemed haunted by my stupid urge to protect. And as Daedra notes from so far away, a fist at her chest opening up and making claws. Claws which open up and point to the heavens as she froths at the mouth. He realizes this woman is very interesting. He thought so already, of course. But he's about ready to give her more credit. This character is quite elaborate. Until frustration makes me wish my teeth were as sharp as yours. Chew through the garage doors. These carnivores will no more use my heart. A finger circles near her brain like she's trying to spin it up. She loves them all, of course she does. But it's nearly impossible to explain herself to the Akatsuki. Hidan thinks she's insane. Kakuzu knows she's a failure. Zetsu is doing God knows what about the fact she's a fucking ghost. And Itachi and Kisame treat her like she's nothing but a little porcelain doll. And whose fault is that? Whose damn fault is that? Deidara rises from his squat about the same time she does from hers, purposely in the same cadence as he tries to connect with the performance in front of him. It's about time you get close. Hear those lyrics she's so clearly singing with her whole, entire heart. I can't wait to hear what it's about. They'll call me crazy, but their words all seem made up to me. Maybe they just need more friendship like yours. As kind as they are, the absence of her friends leaves behind the sounds she tries to ignore. The taunting she imagines, the critique she's heard before from others' lips. They're never truly gone. They can only get drowned out. Whoever these next guys are, and whoever pain is sending her way, they're going to be met with someone who is very, very tired of trying to figure it all out. What's the best thing for her is supposed to be, and if it's the best thing for everyone else, too. It's all just too fucking much. She may even be able to put up something resembling a fight. So gather round Pandora's Skinner's box. Look through the one-way mirror. If you can see in shades of gray, the colors are much clearer. At first, she had hope that it was finally resolved. After death, she was plopped down here, not a soul in sight that could know how badly she's messed up. Seeing the ticks the scientist made above a heavenly clipboard of how many runs it takes until she realizes that touching that one square at the bottom of her cage results in sure electrocution. No one to know her sins, and opportunity to live out her dreams of being someone else, abound and endless. Yet here she is, scared as ever. No solace from the judgment of others. Maybe worse, really. She swayed too far into fantasy, flew too close to the sun, if you will, to be ever real, effervescent, everlasting. How can she live up to such high expectations? It's so appropriate that the last part of the lyrics cycle around, that they ask her to solve her own riddle. She has but one choice: accept and try, even if it hurts, even if it never ends. So with only one choice, of course that means there are none. And though it gives her strength, these lyrics, the stoic creature she speaks to, makes her all the more aware she's alone, in a state forever between human and not. And her ability to form words keeps her away from mice and closer to mankind, as fate so cruelly intended, even when the language seems to be used to whisper behind her back. A long, steady breath draws in. The story doesn't end that way, and she's not a real musician that she can just magically make up a new finale to the song. Not one that'll fit. Be strong, Takara. She calls herself by her stage name, the only one that belongs to her now. Give enough time and she'll forget what the old one is. Finish strong and fake it till you make it. Oh, my friend, you've got a friend in me. Let's go and make more enemies. An unseen man sits on the rooftop, right next to her window, just out of sight. He holds up 2 fingers, the same that made his bet to the Akatsuki leader, and presses them together. Suddenly, the rat seems more alive. Seems like it has listened. It acts in excitement, like a call to action, a battle cry has been made. It spins again as before, and then around her ankles over and over. It's too perfect. Maybe it does understand. Weirder things have already happened. Although my eyes face forward, climb up on my shoulder, sure you'll see my point of view. I'd bring you with me to my office in my pocket, but the world would put us down, lock me up and toss the key. And like a movie, like a book, she reaches out her hand and the creature steps on her palm. As the giant lifts it up, her skin notes it feels somewhat warm, like you have baked clay, and a small tinge of static rubs off its sides. raising the rodent as best as she can with a hunched back underneath the short attic ceiling. She shows him to the world. Looks with him out the window. She makes note in her mind. She's already gendered it. How far down the rabbit hole has she gone? It doesn't matter. She's already nonsense. You might seem behind bars, but friend, this cage is inside out. It's dangerous out here, Socrates. She explains as best as she can, in ways that she wished someone did for a little version of her long ago, what it's like to be human. How to prepare for the social situations that will chew you up and spit you out. The rage in her subsides, and she misses a blue eye so close to her own, just in the corner, as she sticks her head and cupped hands out the window. Take in how she shifts so very, very easily to a world-weary sadness. Just inches away, he reads it off her face as she bravely stretches past her hole in the wall. It never ends. It never ends. The last line is whispered, just loud enough for the snooping disruptor to hear, meaning it was never meant to be heard at all. How thrilling it is to be so close. To wonder if it is all just for him and what it means if it is not. Daedra savors the blood racing in his veins in anticipation of the climax ahead. It's lonely out here, Socrates. The way the tune is meant to end is with bitter cathartic laughter, but she can't do it. This isn't a musical. This is no fiction. The heaviness in her heart remains, even as she's all done and given everything she's got. A gaze searching for shapes of either her friends or her new enemies weaving below the treetops and brambles. She momentarily forgets the creature held so gently in her hands. Thankfully, its creator does not. What a wonderful conclusion, Daedra decides, as he sits so close next to his fellow artist. What a great way to reveal himself. Suicidally, the sculpture leaps from her grasp, and as she sputters in surprise, the coming scream will not save it from its beautiful self-destruction. It's been so long since she's heard fireworks. It sounds like a bomb went off right in front of her. It reverberates in her chest as the art piece expands like popcorn and bursts open orange and green, like it's trying to paint the whole midday sky. To her horror, the mouse is gone. To her awe, the clouds are lit with smoke and sparks. To her shock, a voice is in her ear. "I have to say, my dear." A coo earlier from her lips is returned in kind right behind her head. "Bravo!" "Ah!" Daedra mirrors too, a brief shout of his own as she jumps in such a way at his sudden/not-so-sudden arrival that instead of tumbling backwards inside, she tumbles out. Goodness, how dynamic. He's going to be kept on his toes, isn't he? Oh, no you don't. Wind roughens her eardrum, pulls at her hair as a swoosh carries her away. Literally carries her away. After expecting to slam her corpse upon the ground and finding she has not, the performer pries open her eyes against the harsh sunlight. Her vision gradually adjusts to the sight above that is plain savior, a smirking face and fluttering yellow hair like woven gold. White wings are behind him, and though he sits upon his creation, its clay feathers make him look like the angel. It's like a daydream. One starkly blue eye pins her down as she's held in his arms as they glide midair, passing clouds until the bird finishes spiraling down. Not even a bump to indicate once they've landed. Oh, so masterfully, the truest artist forcefully pulls away her reins. The sun overshadows, makes his face so darkly lit as he beams down, his eyes and voice slick with mischief or something worse. "You're quite the performer." The latest houseguest kisses up, not feeling one bit of grief for that mouse in the slightest. He forged it, after all, from his own chakra, its very life essence. As its god, he chooses when it dies. And what narrator keeps a character past its usefulness? Good narrators, that is. There's something in his voice as he looks down at her. So cool, so calm, so sweet. And it's menacing. She catches his visible eye twitch slightly as his smile grows and shows more teeth. Unsettled and unsettling. I've heard a lot about you. As her one real brief attachment and comfort continues to explode beyond bits and pieces, filling the sky behind sunshiny hair with rainbows, like all the world's a stage and this is now his show. There's a pit in her stomach. This man may be her worst nightmare, proving the point of her soliloquy by pulling the rug from under her feet just for kicks. And he savors that fact, knowing very well that two can try to play her game. Let's try to get to know each other, shall we? Having one choice is the same as having none. The worst has finally happened. A real artist has appeared, capable of looking through her facade as easily as he did her aching heart beyond the yellowing autumn leaves. Chapter end. No, Willard. Willard, no. And that was chapter 21.